Hello, my name is Coral and I am coming to you from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Thank you for joining our latest Girl Scouts of Northern Indiana-Michiana virtual program. I am so excited that you have joined me for this nature exploration. Today, I will be taking you for a walk through the woods. Along the way, I will be identifying different plants. We will also be looking at a benthic macroinvertebrate too. Don't miss the special baking with me in celebration of Earth Day. Can anyone name what this green stuff is? This would be moss. So now we're looking at the yellow flower, and that's called trout lily or adder's tongue. As you can see, I picked up some seeds along the way during my hike. These are what we call hitchhiker seeds, also known as burrs. They will attach to clothing or animal fur, and then they will be dropped off in another location. A fun fact about burrs was that it inspired someone to have the idea for Velcro, which was invented in 1941. This is what we call garlic mustard. It's an invasive species. Invasive means that someone has brought it over because they thought it would be good for cooking or just a good plant. And unfortunately what it does is it takes over other areas, so native plants cannot grow in the same area. Out here enjoying just the scenery and came upon this flower that's not native to the woodlands. So what's your hypothesis of how this flower that would have started off as a bulb would have gotten here? At first, my hypothesis was that an animal probably ate it and then pooped it out later, but then I learned it came from a bulb, which would be too big for an animal to digest. So my next thought is that the bulb would have floated down in the creek and then landed here. This heart-shaped plant here is called wild ginger. If you were to dig it up, and the stem and the roots would smell like ginger. So that's a fun fact. Here we have a sycamore tree. The bark is very interesting, which helps it easy to identify this plant. If you look up the trunk of the tree, you will see that the bark starts to fade out and you have the white coloring, which helps everyone identify this tree more easily. Thought this was kind of cool with the inside of the sycamore tree. What else we can see in there? Kind of cool. Can anyone identify this tree? Looks like it's shaggy. It's known as a shag bark hickory. See what's inside. Spider web. That's really cool. Some of the bark. Okay friends, so I have this right here. It's an acorn head, but what I like to do with it is turn it into a whistle. Can you try it at home? Okay, it looks like an ordinary log on the ground, but then I'm gonna flip it over. Look at those critters. Those are pretty cool. This white thing is a root. It just looks white because it's underneath the branch. But look at that guy go. This flower is called a spring beauty. So what exactly is a benthic macroinvertebrate? Well, let's break it down. So benthic means a bottom dweller. Macro can be seen with the naked eye, and invertebrate means it does not have a backbone. So what a benthic macroinvertebrate is that it is usually a larva that is developing and starts in water. It could be found in swamps or rivers or even lakes. And today I'm going to show you one that starts out as a larva and then it will grow wings and it will become an insect that flies. Down at the water, if you look really closely at what looks like a stick, it's actually called a caddisfly larva. It's a larva that takes sticks and rocks and makes a little cocoon shape to protect its body. Hi friends! So we're going to make Earth Day cookies because who does not love eating cookies? So the first thing that we need to do is preheat our oven to 375. So let me just go back here. All right, and so that's preheating. Let me show you the ingredients that we're going to use today. So we have our flour, so we're gonna need that. Then we're gonna need some baking soda. Here's the baking soda. Then we're going to need some salt. Here's our salt. I have 2 sticks of butter in the refrigerator. Then we're going to need brown sugar. Here's our brown sugar. And then I also have regular sugar. And then we're also going to need vanilla extract. So this is my vanilla. It's from Mexico. It's pure cane sugar. I think it's delicious. And then we're going to use blue and green food coloring to make it look like an earth. So let's get started. So I have my wonderful mixer right on over here. You just open it up and attach this because I will forget. That would, I think, get really, really messy. And this guy's on tight. So we pre-did that. We're gonna mix sorry, just reading my ingredients because one time I cooked it and it did not go well. So we're gonna put flour and baking soda and salt all into here. No, that's gonna be another mixing thing. So I'm just gonna use one of my bowls I have set out. We'll do that first, right? Yeah, because you want to gradually put that in. That's right. So we need 2 cups and 1/4 a cup of flour. So I got my wonderful flour here. That's just kind of what I'm using right there. That blue bowl to put everything in. So flour just kind of shot up at me. It's all right. It's okay to get messy. It's kind of fun too. It means you're enjoying what you're doing. So there's the cup. May have needed a little bit bigger of a bowl. Yep. That's okay. You problem solve, right? It's all about what ears are doing problem solve. So I just pulled out another bowl, put this in here, set this aside. So we did 2 cups, and then we need 1/4 of a cup. So I just have a 1/2 cup here. I'm going to fill this up halfway. And this recipe says it'll make 5 dozen cookies. So it's a lot of cookies, but it's all good. So I got my flour in there. Now it says to do baking soda, and I need 1 teaspoon, TSP of baking soda. So here's my teaspoon. Plop, and then 1 teaspoon of salt. You guys make cookies with your mom or dad or grandma or grandpa often? I hadn't really started making cookies until a couple of weeks ago. But I used to help my mom frost sugar cookies at the holidays. I was always a taster, not a maker. So, yeah. Okay, so we're gonna set this guy aside. We'll come back to him in a little bit. Inside here, we're going to put our butter, our granulated or brown sugar, our white sugar, and then our vanilla extract. So let me grab 2 sticks of butter from the refrigerator. I also got my eggs because I knew I'd need those as well. So, how much sugar? We need 3/4 cup of brown sugar as well as white sugar. Do the white sugar first. Three-fourths cup. Just pulling out another another measuring. Make it a little bit easier, I think. Just kind of shaking. Looks pretty good. I'm gonna pour this on in here. I'm going to do the same. It's kind of stuck a little bit. That's okay. It won't hurt anything. Same with the brown sugar. Brown sugar sticks together a lot more. So it'll be a little bit more difficult to figure it out, but we got this. That looks pretty good. Probably could have just put it right in the bowl, but don't lose the eggs, Coral. Okay. There's that, and then I'm gonna take the eggs, not the eggs, the butter. I'm gonna put them on in here with this as well. It asks for 2 sticks of butter or a cup of butter. But I did sticks today. There's that. Okay. Then for my mixer, you're gonna want to make sure that it's down all the way and it's locked in place. Then you're just gonna beat it. Ooh. You can kind of see that it's stuck. The butter got stuck. No big deal. Just pushing it back down in there. We forgot to put vanilla in there. It might have helped to have the butter softening for a little bit before we started, but all good. No big deal. How much vanilla extract do we need? 1 teaspoon. Okay, let's try it again. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to add the eggs in. So we just add them one at a time. So crack it on the side. You can also crack these in a bowl so you don't get eggshells in there. So there's one in there. We're gonna close it. Keep that guy in there. Okay, looking good. Put this back up. Then we're gonna do the second one. Crack them over here. Okay. So I'll let you guys kind of see what my mixture is. So here's what my mixture is starting to look like. Now we're gonna gradually add in the flour. Still locked into place. I'm gonna add a little bit. And then I'm gonna mix it. Add some more. Let it mix some more. A little bit more. Okay. Good. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna split this up into 2 bowls. Okay, tastes good. We're good on that factor. So I'm gonna just take this guy. That was for the recipe. I'm gonna move this over to the other. Still left that on there because I might need a little treat later. Okay. So I have 2 bowls here and I also have my food coloring. I'm gonna add some into 1 container. And then we're gonna add the second one. Like that. Good. Let's put this aside. Let's take, that's fine. Okay. So I have bowls 1 and bowl 2. I'm gonna add 2 drops of green. 1, 2, oh, I did 3 or 4. And then I'm just gonna mix this all in there. Maybe. It's not want to work with me today. But you can see it's starting to turn another color. Excited to read what your favorite cookies are that you make. Or what's your favorite cookie that you like to eat? Bad. A little bit more green to it. So you really can see that earth. Can you see that it's green pretty much now? Good. All right, so now we're gonna do the same thing with blue for the water for the earth. Okay. Grab another spoon. Mix it up. Feel my oven heat on. Oh yeah. Okay. Ooh, ooh, loud noises, sorry. So there's the blue for the earth. Pretty easy. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my baking sheets and some cooking spray. Got my baking sheet, wonderful cooking spray. And of course, the lid thing came off. That's all good. Okay. I'm just going to spray down my cooking sheet. Good. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little. Okay, so I have my cookies, they're on the baking sheets and I'm ready to put them in the oven. I'm going to put them in the oven for about probably like 8 to 9 minutes, just because I like my cookies to be a little bit more squishier, but I wanted to show you the result before they go in the oven. But that's kind of what they look like now, and it should be fun to see how they turn out. So I'll check back in with you guys in about 8 minutes. Thanks. Okay, so I wanted to show you the cookies because I just took them out of the oven. They kind of look like earth, so I do have to say it's a good try, Coral, good try. But this is what the cookies look like. But you know what? It's not always about what they look like. It's also about what they taste like. And I don't know that I've ever really tried a bad cookie before. So I'll try them later and let you guys know. Thanks. Hi friends. Okay, so we're going to make salt dough necklaces that look like Earths because it's Earth Day. So I just want to go through the steps with you on how you make salt dough necklaces. So the ingredients that you need are, you need some water, which I have in a cup right here. You'll need salt, and then you'll need flour. Okay, so we're going to make half of what it calls for. So the first thing that you'll need is you'll need a half a cup of flour. So that's about a half a cup, maybe a little bit more, but that's okay. And then you'll need a fourth of a cup of salt. And I'm just going to fill this half cup up halfway. Okay, that looks about good. And then you just pour it in. And then you're going to need a half a cup of water. So, and I use warm water because I feel like it helps the salt dissolve quicker. But that's just my liking. You also need the oven to be turned to 250 degrees. So now I'm just going to take my mixture here and I'm just going to use my elbow grease here to mix this up. I might add a little bit more water because it looks a little crumbly. Okay. Okay. So then what you'll do is if you have parchment paper, you're going to want to lay it down. I have wax paper, so that's what we're going to use. So lay down some wax paper. Then what my mother told me when I was younger is that you want to put down a little bit of flour so that it helps your cookies, but you're not going to eat these, friends. Just helps the dough not stick to the parchment paper or the wax paper. And then I'm going to grab my dough that I have here now, and I'm going to mush it up in my hands until it's just like a ball. And I'm going to flatten it down, spread out the flour a little bit more. Sorry, you can't really see what exactly I'm doing. There's a little bit better. And then you can see it's sticking to my hand, so then I'm just going to put some more down. Then what you'll want to do is you'll want to get a rolling pin. I don't have a rolling pin, so I'm going to use a cup, but I'm going to pour out the water that was in there. And you're going to want to roll it. And roll it some more. And if it sticks, that's okay. You just adapt. That's what we do anyway, so. Then the great thing about my rolling pin that I'm using is that it can double as a cookie cutter. Who knew? I didn't bring my straw. That's okay, I'll go get it. So it's pretty thin now. You can make it thicker if you want to, but I think the thinner it is, the better off, excuse me, it will be in the oven for cooking. So I'm just going to flip this over and I'm going to make circles. Just one circle, two circles. We'll try to get 3 out of this. So there are my 3 circles. Then I'm going to pull off the outside part, so like the excess that I don't want, and set it to the side so I can make more later. Have beautiful earths right now. Let me go grab my straw. Now that I have my straw, I'm going to make little holes in it and make sure that it's not too close to the edge. Okay. So I'm going to peel it off and then I would put it on my cooking pan. I put foil down on my cooking pan, but this is what it looks like when it goes into the oven. So then my oven has been preheated to 250 and I'm going to put these guys on a cooking sheet that has foil on top of the cooking sheet, lay them out so they're not touching. And then I'm going to cook it for 2 hours. During that time, I want to be checking it and making sure that it's not over baking and then it's not cracking as it goes along. So I'll come back later and show you what mine look like. Okay, so I left the dough in the oven for 2 hours and I kept checking on it just to see how it was doing because this is my first time making these. So I just want to make sure that they turned out beautifully. So the dough has come out of the oven and this is the back of one. But what I've done is I have set the base coat and let it dry. So I just have the blue for the water. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in little blobs for the earth and then write 2020. So I remember what year. So I'm just going to bring this down here for you guys. And you can see my beautiful waters. I'm going to try some dark green. This is all acrylic paint. Like I've said, I've never done this before, so I'm not quite sure if you can use watercolors, but I would assume probably not. So acrylic is probably the way to go. So let's see, I'm going to just start with this one right here. and I'll just add in a little thing that might look like the United States. Yep, there's a Florida. Huh? Then add in our friends across the pond from us. And we'll add in a little segment down here like for Mexico and something up here. Okay, so I have my lands, as you can see. That looks pretty good. Oh, I'm pretty impressed with my skills right there. And now I'm going to try to I'm just going to put 20 for Earth Day 20. So I'm going to use this bright yellow because I figured it would pop up, but we'll see. So I'll just put it here. Beautiful. It's a little bit hard to see the 0, but you kind of get the idea of it. So that is my like pendant, and I can just put string on it and then just hang it and rock it. So I look forward to seeing what else you girls come up with. What are their designs for Earth Day? Or if you want to create it into something else, that's totally fine too. So I look forward to seeing in the comments what you girls come up with.